All right. And now the moment that you've surely been waiting for, the beginning of Microsoft Office Workshops Word for Beginner. And to teach our class today, we have Savannah Lish. Savannah is one of our MakeMo or Maker Mobile librarians, which means she drives a colorful van all over LA County doing STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math programs for anyone ages 5 through 99 and above. And today, she joins you virtually to cover the technology portion of STEAM and teach you all about Microsoft Word. Savannah, the stage is yours.
Hello. Let me share my screen or screen. Share screen. All right. So hello, welcome. This is Microsoft Word for Beginners, the virtual program. And afterwards, I believe this was already said, but this will be uploaded onto YouTube. So you can definitely pause, rewind, and rewatch as needed. It'll be up there for you on the LA County YouTube website. So to begin, I'm going to open Word. This is a word processor. It's an application in which we can type things. What I'm doing is I just typed Word into my search and then I double clicked on the app. That's what this is. And it should be opening right now. There we go. Um, yeah, so it's a word processor. It's a place where we can go to type any documents you need, and you'll see a few that we can make today. I'm just going to click on blank document and open it that way. And then here is what we have. This is a blank document. So to start, we have our cursor. That's this blinking line right here. Anywhere the cursor is, that's where you're going to type. So there it is. I press space, and then I can type another word. If you lose your spot in the document once you've written a lot, you can do that little just word scramble type random things and see where it is, and that's how you can find your cursor if it's hard for you to see this line right here. So now that we know what the cursor is, we'll move up to the ribbon. This is what the ribbon is. We can make it smaller. I always like to have it nice and big like this. I think it's easier to see. But if you want it smaller, you can do show tabs only. And that way, if you open your Word document and it's automatically like that and you don't know where the ribbon is, what you can do is hover or click on any one of these. I'm going to click on home. And then what I'm going to do is press the caret, always show ribbon. That just makes it a little easier, in my opinion. What the ribbon is that it's an organization of different things you can do. In this class, we'll learn a few of the things it can do. In the next class, the intermediate one, we will learn a lot of them. What we're mostly going to use today are the insert button. Oh, actually, that's not true. Sorry, the view button, because I like having a ruler up. I think it makes it easier to read. And then we're mostly going to be using the home button. This is the easiest or the most important part of the ribbon to know. So to begin, we're going to learn how to write a letter on Word. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, yes, we're at home. Normally, I do keep the 12 point. I think that's a very good size to have. Since I'm showing you guys and you're going to need to read on your screen, I'm going to move it up to 14 just so it's a little easier to see. I also, Aptos is a fine font. I personally like to use Times New Roman. It's Times New Roman is kind of accepted as a catch-all professional font. And what I'm going to be showing you today is a professional letter. I'll also explain what you can do for like a friendly letter as well. So to start, I'm going to come over here to these buttons. These are our align buttons. So what I'm doing, I'm not clicking on it yet. I'm just hovering the mouse and it'll say what it does. So I'm going to come over here, let the mouse show me, oh, that's the align right. That's where I want to start. So I clicked on that button and then my cursor moved to the right. So this is how I'm going to write my date. So I'm going to start by saying, okay, it's July 15th, 2025. If this were a letter to a loved one, I would just leave the date and then I would move on. Since I'm writing a professional letter, I am going to also write my name and my address. This can be your address or your physical address or your email address. I'm going to write my physical address. Also, these lines right here, how it's almost double space, you can actually take that out. Personally, I like to take it out. it's on the spacing button. So this is how you can make it 1, 1.5, 2. But what is happening here is that it the add space before paragraph is automatically checked by Microsoft. I always come down and I remove the space after paragraph. I just think it looks a little neater, and then I have a little more control over how big my document is, or how long, how many pages it is. So I clicked on the enter key on the keyboard to get down here, and I did that twice, so I'm going to delete one of those. Oops. And here, let me move. So if I clicked enter once, it would have me here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here and click align left. And that's where I'm going to start my letter. So I'm going to use the name, I'm going to use to because this is professional. If it were personal, I'd probably write dear. And what you can do is for a friendly letter, you can just do tabs. So it'd be tab, paragraph, period, tab, and that's how you would change up the letter. For professional letters, what we do is we don't use the tab. So I'm going to show you that right now. I'm just clicking the delete key. So I'm going to start my letter. Thank you for your prompt response. Oh. Okay, now in order to make a gap for the paragraph, instead of doing tab, I'm going to hit the enter key on the keyboard twice, and that is a nice big gap. So let me finish writing this. So that's how we make our paragraphs easy to read and noticeable. It's just a little bit easier to type it this way. So another cool thing that Microsoft Word does is that if it thinks that you did something grammatically incorrect, it underlines in blue. So we're going to click here, and it's going to give us options. So what I like to do, sometimes these aren't correct, so I always read them out loud. So unfortunately, the floors that were put down by your company did not settle, and there are splinters on them. Versus, unfortunately, the floors that were put down by your company have not settled, and there are splinters on them. I will go ahead and click that. So what I did is I just clicked on the option, and it automatically changed for me. Now, if you accidentally wrote a word wrong, it will underline in red. And again, you just click on the middle of the word, anywhere in the word, and it'll give you a few options usually. So I'm going to click expense because that's what I wanted to say. What's nice is that it does that. It is sometimes frustrating, sometimes with certain names, it'll underline them. So just if you know, oh, grammatically, this is correct, this is what I want to say, don't let the word processor bully you, but it is nice if you just accidentally word something incorrectly. So what I'm also going to do here is I'm just going to write sincerely, and you can hit the enter key on the keyboard and just type your name immediately. But since this is a professional letter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the enter key 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and type my name right here. And this way, when I print it out, I can sign it, and I can have them know that I wrote it, and have it just be a little bit more professional. So that and so if I wanted to save this, what I would do is I wouldn't. So what I did is I went up to the ribbon and I clicked File. This opens this page. I know it's a little bit intimidating when you first see it. If I want to save this document, I am not going to click save first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click save as for the first time. Here, I can write the name, letter to company. I usually put the year or the month and year on the documents I write just because it keeps it a little bit easier to find them. And so this, if I'm saving as, this saves to OneDrive. This will save on the internet. If I want to save it on my personal or on my work computer, I would click this PC, and then it'll have me. Right now, it'd have me save to documents. I can click this arrow, and I usually save things to my desktop. Personally, that just is what works for me. So I clicked on the arrow, and then I could see, oh, desktop documents downloads. Where do I want to save it? So then I would write out the name. Also, the Word document is a great thing to save. I always save a Word document. If I'm sending this and it's like a professional thing, it's a resume, it's a letter, it's something I don't want changed, I also will save a PDF, and that's what I will send because the PDF cannot be tampered with. The Word document can, but it's always good to have that saved so that you can go back and change things as needed. And so let's say I've already saved, it's all good to go. Now I will click print. This is where we would go if we want to print our letter so that we can sign it and send it off. Different settings. So we can, print all pages. We can choose current page or custom. We can print on both sides or one-sided. And then we can also choose the color. This isn't giving me the option to choose the color because it would be black and white no matter what. But if I had, purple font, I could choose, do I want to print it in black and white? Do I want to print it in color? So I will go back. And that's how you write a letter. It's really not too hard. So that is our first portion. And now we will move on to writing a resume. So I went ahead and said, don't save. I'm going to come over to Word. Oh, again, and I'm going to reopen it up. Just 1 second. Has to think. And the reason I'm reopening it up is I want to show you all something interesting. So I'm going to go over to New, and we can click a blank document again, and that's what we are going to do. But I'm also going to show you guys templates. So what you can do is you can come down to the search for templates and click whatever kind of thing you want. You can look up letters, anything. A template is something that is already made and already formatted. And what you do is when you choose it, you just fill in the blanks. So it says like name here. You would just write your first name, last name. Personally, I'm not going to use any of these, even though it makes your life easier, because these are all really busy. And when you're writing a resume, you want it to be as streamlined and easy to read as possible because hiring managers look at a lot of resumes. So we're going to make one that is very easy to read, very streamlined, and has all the information you need. So to start, we are pulled up the blank document, and I'm going to go up to the ribbon and I'm going to click view. Again, this is when the ruler is most important. So we're going to click the ruler box, and this will show when we start writing out our resume information, we'll be able to easily see, okay, is everything in line? Is everything uniform? And then we're going to move over to the Insert tab. The Insert tab, we are going to go over to Header. So I clicked on Insert, and now we're going over to Header. I'm going to click on this caret, this arrow down at the bottom. And then I'm choosing for my header to have the 3 columns. I think that that looks the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the middle, and I'm going to type my email to start. So and then I'm going to click in the middle here. I'm going to type my first and last name. And then right here, I'm going to put my phone number. So this is just our nice information. It's easy to read. I'm also going to click over to the Home tab. It's in Aptos. Again, I'm going to make it Times New Roman. This is personal preference. You always want to try to use a professional font. I'm also going to, I would keep this at 12 or even 10-point font. I'm going to make it 14 so it's easier for everyone to see. So now everything is good. We have the right font, we have our size we want, and now we're stuck in the header, right? If I click down here, the cursor is still up in the header. You can tell this because it says header right here, and then there's this dotted line right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go anywhere under this dotted line, and I'm just going to double click. Now I am out of the header. If I realize, oh no, I wrote down the wrong phone number, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to go up past where I think that imaginary line was. So maybe just above the font up here, double click. Now I'm back in the header. All right, so I'm going to come back down here. I just double clicked again. And I am going to start writing my resume. Now, for your resume, you can start with education or experience. I personally do education first. So I'm going to click the center align. I'm going to, again, it switched back to Aptos. I'm going to make it Times New Roman. I'm going to make it 14 point. Actually, I'm going to make it 16 point because I'm going to make the rest 14. And I'm going to click the bold button. Now, you can physically click bold if you want, or you can press and hold Control key, which is CTRL on the leftmost side of your keyboard at the bottom. Press and hold that Control button and press B. And if you see right here, I am not clicking on it. It's turning on and off because I'm holding CTRL key and pressing B while holding that key. So now that is on. We can tell because it looks like it's in a square. And I'm just going to write education. Again, I would probably have this at 14 or 12-point font. But for these purposes, I want it to be easy to see. I'm going to click enter. I'm going to unbold, and I'm going to make the font smaller so that it's easier to fit more information. And then I'm going to click left. Now I'm going to write my university name. And we're going to put the date over on this side over here. We are not going to use the right align button because if we do that, it'll just hop over there. We don't want that, right? So I'm going to keep it left aligned, and I'm going to use my tab key on the leftmost toward the top of the keyboard. And I'm just going to keep count of how many times I click it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At 8, I can see this is aligned with the phone number, so we're going to see if that looks good. Let's say I was getting my master's from 2021 to 2025. That looks good. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit tab once. Actually, I'm going to keep it flush. And then I'm going to click the I. Now, to use this button, we can do the same thing as the B, but with I. So I'm going to hold the control button, that CTRL button, press and hold it, and then click the I on my keyboard. That will make it italicized. It just looks nice. So I'm going to go ahead and write my major. So I got a Master's of Fun from the University of University. And then, you know what I forgot to do? I'm going to highlight everything. So what I do is I click down at the end of the word with my left key on my mouse, the left button, and I just drag. I keep that held down and I drag so that it looks like it's highlighted. And then I'm going to come over to the spacing and remove the spacing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra space after education. I think that will look good. All right, so I got a Master's of Fun. I'm going to click enter again. I'm going to click on the I button, and then I'm going to write my college. So I got a College of College. Again, and it took 8 tabs to get over here, so I'm just going to do that real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not quite enough, so I'm going to press it one more time. 9 will get me there. So I'm going to say I did that from 2016 to 2020. hit enter, and again, so I hit enter to get to the next line, and then again, I press the I, or I can use control, hold that down and press the I on my keyboard. Um, and I'm gonna say that I have a bachelor's or bachelor of fun. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're not going to hit enter. We're going to click again. So we're going to use our cursors right here. We're going to click down on our left key on the mouse and hold it down while we kind of pull the cursor up, and we're going to highlight everything. We're going to press and hold the control key on our keyboard and press the C to copy, or once it's highlighted, you can let go of the mouse buttons, and in the highlighted area, press the right key on your mouse, right click, and you can copy. So I'm just going to click copy. Now we can either control V, or, and I'm going to press and hold control Z to undo. So control Z to undo, and I can click where the cursor is, and it'll give me these paste options. This one is keep source formatting, and it'll show me if I hover. I'm not clicking, I'm just hovering. We don't want to do that one. That one is for a picture, so that doesn't affect us. And then this one is keep text only. What we want to do is we want to keep the formatting. So that's the one I clicked. So I'm going to click and highlight education, and I'm not going to press, you can press delete. I'm not going to. I'm just going to type experience over it, and it'll automatically delete education and replace it with experience. Now I'm going to start with my jobs. So let's say I was a horse barn manager, and you want to start with your most recent experience up top. So let's say I started doing that in 2023. Now it is 2025 now, so it feels like, oh yeah, that's right, I should put 2025. That is not correct. What we're going to write is present because we're still doing it. And I'm going to go ahead and click tab. Okay, so that's too much. So I'm going to press the delete. And then I'm just going to have the space bar and press enough spaces to get it in line with everything. It's a little bit down from these, if you see, but that's okay. What matters is that this job experience is the same. So we'll get there. And over here, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to undo the italicize, and then I'm going to add bullet points. And I'm going to keep it highlighted because I'm going to type my experience here. So let's say I organize TAC, and your work experience that's current, you want to have in present tense. You also want to use action verbs because it just looks better. It's easier to read. So teach students. This one could probably be 2 bullet points, but we'll just keep it 1. And then manage. And things like teach, manage tend to be really good. You don't want to use all the same words, but teach and manage are ones that you can reuse as long as they're accurate. And then let's say as a nurse, you were a nurse from 2020, 2023. And so again, I'm going to highlight this and write down nurse. All right, and then again, we're going to highlight, unitalicize, bullet point, and then, sometimes it just goes back. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click italicize again, and I'm going to click the bullet points again. And so give patients life-saving care. So you want to have between 3 and 5 bullet points per job. I'm going to leave this at 2 just because this is an example. So I'm going to go ahead and see why it thinks that organized TAC was wrong. Okay, so it thinks I used the wrong word. I'm going to keep tack because that's what you call like the horse's clothing for when you ride it. So I know I'm right. So I'm going to leave that. This give patients life-saving care. Okay, it should be one word. I'll go ahead and click that. And then communicated, let's see, communication between hospital staff and patients. I'm not going to take that because um, I did give communication, but I think communicated is a better verb in this realm. Okay, so it wanted me to change it to no space, and now it's saying I need a dash. I'm going to go ahead and see if that will make it. Okay, so that made it go away. I'm fine with that. I think you could probably use either one of those. Okay. I feel like sometimes the computers, they're trying to help us, but then they like overthink and they end up just being a little too smart for everyone. Okay, so we're almost done. Now I'm going to just highlight this, just experience, and I'm going to put it enter, enter. So when I click enter once, it comes up with a bullet point. We're done with that. So I'm going to hit enter again. It'll come flush to the side, and then enter one more time will get me down. And I just clicked control. I held control and then I clicked V at the same time. And I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to write skills slash qualifications. And I'm going to put this in the center alignment again. I don't know why it switched. Sometimes that just happens. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to make this size 14 font. And then I'm going to write down my skills and qualifications. So this is if you speak another language. And we want to turn off that bold button. So if you write down that you speak a language for your job on your resume, it needs to be you speak at a fluency level that works for the job. So if you know a few words, I would not put that down. But if you know enough that you can communicate in whatever way your job needs, I would write it down. So if you know Spanish, anything that might help you get a job. So if you know video editing, um, if you know how to use professional photography equipment, um, anything that hasn't been up here. So I wouldn't write, oh, I know how to ride horses, or oh, I know how to do CPR, because nurses know how to do CPR. Horse band managers know how to ride horses. But anything that isn't in the resume that you think would be useful, you put down in skills and qualifications. Um, I'm going to delete that so it's all flush. Okay. So, sorry, let me find where I am. Okay, so our resume is done. And what we're going to do again is we're going to come over here to File and we're going to click Save As. Personally, I always like to save my resume as first initial, last name, underscore, and then the year. So I find that's easy. I find that if I send that to jobs, it's not confusing to them. So it's just easy for everyone. So we do that. I again would save a version as a Word document. And then I also would save a PDF, and that's what I will send to prospective employers. And again, I will go to this PC, I will press the arrow, and I will use desktop documents, downloads, wherever I will know where to find it. And if you do click in somewhere, then you have the folders that you can do. Um, so you can have it nice and organized wherever you save them. And again, you can print it if you would like. Um, yeah, so that's how you write a resume. It looks hard and it is a lot of moving parts, but it's not actually that difficult at all. So now we will move on to how to write a meeting agenda. So we're going to start with a blank document. We're going to make sure that we don't have the header going. And I'm going to start with everything flush to the left. So again, I would recommend doing this 12-point font. I'm going to start at 14 or 16 just so that it's easier to see. So we will write the meeting name, and I'm going to have that in bold. So I'm just going to say that it's beginning word meeting. And then I'm going to click enter. I'm going to unbold. And I'm going to write the date and time. So July 15th, 2025. I always like to put a dash. I think it makes it easier to read at 11 a.m. And then I'm going to write the address, the room, or the Zoom link. I'm not going to copy and paste their Zoom link. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to say we're in meeting room A. So that's how you start. And then I'm going to double click. And again, we have taken off this add space after paragraph. So it's nice and flush. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to hit I'm going to start writing this schedule. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the B key. Again, you can press and hold the control button, that CTRL button. And while you're holding that button down, press B, and that will turn that on and off. And I'm going to write agenda and then colon. And again, I'm going to turn off that B, that bold. And then to start, we will write the schedule of the meeting, and we will use at some points this multi-level bullet points. So I'm going to click that right there. And we're going to start with number 1. So I'm going to write icebreaker question. And that's kind of the main point of what we're doing. And then I'm going to hit enter and tab, and then I'm going to write the question. So what is your favorite animal? And then I'm going to hit enter again. I'm going to hit tab. Oh, I'm actually going to hit the delete button, and that'll get us to the 2. And that way we know what we're doing. And so anytime there's an important announcement, we're not going to write announcement. We're just going to write what it is. So let's say that parking will be under construction. This isn't something that we're always going to have. So we're just going to write it like that. And then you can give details in the meeting. So then it'll take us to number 3. Okay, so now if there's a presentation, what we're going to write is presentation. And then we're going to hit tab or enter and then tab to get to the A. And that's going to be the name of the presentation. So that's going to be Microsoft beginning Microsoft Word. Oh my gosh. Word virtual program. And then the people who are presenting, we're going to hit enter. That's how we got to this little B right here. And then I'm going to hit the tab button, and that's how we get to the I. And we're going to say that Oleg. And then we're going to put the presenters there. So what I did is I hit Oleg Kagan, and then I just hit the enter key, and then it automatically knew, okay, they probably want to list off in the same way. I like this one because I think that it's really easy to see. There are some other ones here. If we click here, this one I think is kind of confusing. This one's nice, but I like that this one has numbers. So you can see, okay, first we're going to do this, second we're going to do this, and third this is going to happen. So that's the beef of our meeting. And so to end the agenda, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the enter key 4, 5, 6 times to get out of this beautiful organization thing. So here, let me show you again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so it was 5 times to get over here. And then we're going to, again, put bold, and we're going to write upcoming meetings. And then colon, we're going to press and hold the control, press B to get out of that bold. And then we're going to write down our upcoming meetings. So I'm going to write, July or enter. program, colon, and that will be July 29th at 11 a.m. So we always want to end with our upcoming meetings or important things, like if there's an important training coming up. Um, and that way people kind of know, okay, what is this meeting for? And then what are we planning for the future? Just makes it a little bit easier. You can also put the meeting room if you would like, but you don't always have to do that. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for attending the Microsoft Word for Beginners. Here, let me unshare. um, on July 29th at 11 a.m., we will be giving the virtual program for Microsoft Word for intermediate users. And now that you have done this program, you will be an intermediate user. So if you feel comfortable with it, we would love to see you there. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope this was informative to you.
And now let's do a Q&A. We have a little bit of time. So folks, if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A. I have been answering some questions throughout the session for individual folks, but there are some things that it would be good for us to either demo or share, and we can help with that. I do have a question here. Um, the default font and font size are different from what you said. Should I change them when writing a new professional letter?
Yes, yeah. So you can go up here. Let me share my screen again. Um, you can come up here to this home and you can choose any font that you like. Again, I like Times New Roman. For some reason, I don't know why Aptos is the
That
automatic.
that
Mhm.
became the default. It used to be Calibri.
Okay.
Before that, it was when I started using Microsoft Word in the late 90s or mid 90s, it was my Times New Roman, and then they
Yeah.
changed it to Calibri, and now it's Aptos. And
Okay.
those are all fine to use for professional letters.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that because I in school I was always taught Times New
Times New
Roman, but
Roman.
yeah, it does look like then you can use Aptos if you would like.
Mhm.
And then yes, and I do recommend for letters and things to use the 12 point. I just made it bigger so that it was a little bit easier to see on my screen. But you can change it up here and you can change it. You can make it here. Let me show you. I'm going to highlight this
Hey, Savannah,
and
can
then,
you maximize the Microsoft Office window?
yeah.
Just because, yeah, there we go. Because the other stuff was kind of distracting.
Okay. So I can even make it way, way bigger if I want. It's just personal preference. A lot of people find 12-point font easy to read and easy to see. So and it doesn't take up too much space on the page either. So you get kind of the best of both worlds where people can see it and read it, but it's not like, 18 pages for one paragraph.
A lot of people are asking whether this will be on, they can watch this later. And yes,
Yes.
this session is being recorded and it'll be posted on our YouTube channel, and everybody will get a link by email. So you could, if this was too fast, or if you'd like to just review at your own pace, you can most definitely follow along when we get it posted on YouTube. So let me go ahead and I think there's another question that we got earlier, and I really wanted you to demo it. How do you change the margins on
Oh,
in documents?
I believe you can change it up on the ruler. So yes. So the ruler isn't always automatically there. So again, we go to view and then this is the ruler. And then that's how you change the margin. So you can make them wider or narrower with this kind of caret here. That'll be this margin right here. And then here, let me show you. So, and then if I type too much, it'll go to the next line. But if I move the margin over this way, then that word, do you see them jumping as I move it? That's one part of the margin. That's the right margin, obviously. And then for the left margin, this one changes where it starts. And then this one changes the entire idea. So what Okay, there we go. That's the next line. So that's for the next line of the paragraph. So this one changes the first line of the paragraph. Oh, and this one changes the next one. If you want them all to be together, oh, you'll click the box at the bottom, this box right here, and then the whole thing will be together, as you can see it moving. So that's how you change the margins. Um,
And my preference is to do the layout. If the fine adjustments in the rule are really good, but I like the layout where it says margins all the way on the left. There we go. Yeah, see there.
yes,
Yeah, that way if you just want like a very quick and easy kind of change, you can do that.
yes.
The ruler though is really useful for specific change if you want to just make very minor changes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what the next question is here. We're getting a lot of questions. I don't know if we'll be able to cover all of these, but we'll do our best. Um, how to disable formatting so I can type so I can type like a typewriter. Oh,
Um,
that's an interesting
I,
question.
Yeah, I don't quite know how to do that. I would imagine if you go to layout margins, you can make the margins the same as they would be on a typewriter, and then you can do it that way. But when you open it, it always has um, whenever you open Word, it always starts with having the space after paragraph, um, that font, and then this size. So it'll always start, oh, it won't be bold though, apologies. So it'll always kind of look like this. So I don't know how to get it closer to a typewriter.
So one suggestion that I would have for that would be to just remove the ribbon. I mean, if the idea is that there's too much
Oh,
stuff there, you can remove the ribbon and that way it'll
mhm,
just be the page and you don't have to worry about any of the formatting. If you already have
mhm.
a document that has formatting, there is a way to clear all formatting. And that is, yeah, that's right over. Um, if you
Oh,
go back to the ribbon, I'll show you where that button is.
yeah, sorry, I
I
clicked
use
the
that.
wrong thing.
There I go. I use the what's called. I use that. I use the clear formatting one every so often. It's the one in the middle with the little. I believe it's the little A with the eraser. Yeah. So if you have
This
this,
one?
so if you
Okay.
have a document with formatting that already exists, you can highlight the whole document and then tap that button, and it'll remove all the formatting. That means it'll remove all the bolds, italics, the spacing. Everything will be gone. It'll just be like whoosh, as plain can be. All right. Let me see if I can. Let me see the next question here. Um, is there a way to make a preferred font um, the default font?
I don't know.
I
It feels
think
like
there
something that you should
is.
be able to do, but I don't know how to do that.
If you right click on, if you go to the font thing and right click, I'm curious because there's one way I know that you can do it, and go ahead and open it. Yeah, like that, and then right there, yeah, click down there in one of the fonts. No, that's not it. So
Mm.
the way to do it, I believe, is so you select Times New Roman, and then you see where it says normal right in the middle there, where the styles are.
Mhm.
So go ahead and hit Times New Roman, click on that, and then yeah, go to normal in the middle where the styles are, all the way in the middle. In the middle of the screen there. Actually, let me do this. Let me share my screen and then I can actually because I know how to
Oh,
do it and then we can
oh yeah, but if I click normal, then it goes straight back here.
oh, if you right click on
Do
normal,
I modify?
yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Oh, do you have are you just sharing Microsoft? No, it should be because it's not showing. Did you right click on normal?
Uh-huh. Oh, is it not showing the box? Yeah, I'm sharing the whole screen, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's not showing. Yeah, it's not showing the drop. Is there a drop down?
Oh, okay, here, let me see.
Oh, that's a
Can
Zoom
you see
issue.
this screen?
No,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
showing that. No, so there usually would be a
Oh,
drop down under when you right click on normal, there would be a drop down and then it would let you make that the default. I think it's a Zoom
oh.
issue because sometimes it has issues with windows in the foreground or menus in the foreground doesn't
Hmm.
show them. We've had this issue before, so Savannah and I are
Okay.
familiar with this potential challenge. But yeah, you can right click on normal and then you can set the default font to be your normal style. That's getting a little bit beyond what a beginner would be doing in Microsoft Word. So for a beginner, I recommend just changing the font. So let me see. But yeah, that's a really good question because if you're using Word a lot, then changing it to your preferred font is better.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can do that by using styles. So let me see. How can I find this course on YouTube? Well, we're going to send you a link via email. Why change tense in experience category? Oh, I see. This was about the grammar check. Uh,
So in experience, the reason why I put present tense in the work I'm currently in the description of the job I'm currently doing is because I'm currently doing those things, right? I'm currently teaching students and I'm currently organizing the tack of horses. In my past jobs, it's past tense because I used to communicate between doctors and nurses. I used to save lives. With that being said, I don't know that like your resume will get thrown out if you use the same tense for all your jobs, but I just have heard that it's preferred to have it be present job and present tense, past jobs and past.
People have asked where they can get Microsoft Word, and I posted a link in the chat, but I also want to say that it's available for free on library computers. So if you come to the library and make a reservation for a computer session, then you can use any of the Microsoft Office, your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all for free on our computers. So you don't have to buy it.
Yes. If you do that, I would recommend bringing a USB stick or an external hard drive because you can't save things onto the library computer, but you can save it onto your personal USB drive.
See that was a few of the questions here. Let me see. How do you set tab? Do you know if you can change the size of the tab? Because I'm not sure if this was what this person meant. The question was how to set
Oh,
tabs, but I don't know if I think there's probably a way to change the size of the tab, but that goes way deeper into is a little beyond the
yeah.
scope of this class. Generally, the tab is, I think it's like 10 spaces or something like that. That's just I
Okay.
believe that's the default tab, but I may be wrong. It may be 12 spaces or 7 or something. But but there may be a way to actually change what your tab button, the size of your tab. But yeah, that's beyond the
It's
scope of this
12.
class. It's 12. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that would be the default. Let me see what else because we had a few other questions. How do I create a centered paragraph in the middle where the margins will be different? So are you able to make different margins and like adjust the different parts of the page? Maybe almost like a block quote?
I don't know. Here, let me see. So, oh, like for a paper. Yeah, there is a way to do that here. Let's just fake type a little bit. Sorry. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit enter, and then I think you can just click center, and then it will be in the center. Yeah, let's see if we can have different margins though. I think the margins will affect. Oh, and then I'll move that over there. Yes, so I think the margins affect
Yeah.
um
I think you're gonna share
one.
your screen in a second, right?
Oh, is my screen not shared?
No, no, it's not shared yet. I think you had
Oh,
removed it before. I
apologies.
heard
I've
typing and I
been
was like, oh, that's very sad. That is satisfying to hear the typing sounds. But
yes,
yeah, or people were like, why?
more
I
useful.
can't see.
Yeah.
Much more
Okay,
useful
so
to be able
what
to
I
see.
did here is I just am typing, pretend words. Here, let's go. And then okay, so I'm gonna click enter. And this is how we do the shorter like um everything. And then when I click up here, I can move the margins back over here to the standard and have it be that kind of um, standard margins. And then after this, it'll move back. So then I click enter again. It's still here. Let's say that paragraph is done. I'm actually going to hit enter twice. And then I will move the carets back here, back to where I started. Oh, if it'll move. No. Okay. Oh, sorry, 1 second. There we go. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I think, there we go. I think these little lines are just to show, oh, where did I put the middle ones so that you don't get confused. And then it's back once I move the cursors and I change lines, it's back to where I originally wanted it. So that way, when you're writing a paper or you're trying to cite something that's a large line of text, that's how you do it. So you type, hit enter, move the margins to where you want them to be, type, hit enter, and then move the margins back to where they were originally.
Oh, sorry about that. I forgot to turn off my audio while I was coughing.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, let's see our next question. I think we'll do one more question because it's about to be noon.
Okay.
Uh, can that center paragraph be center justified? Ooh, that's a good question. I think it can be. So if you change the alignment, if you highlight the center paragraph and you hit the justified, there's a centered, but if you go ahead and hit the justified, the one, yeah, that one. So there we go. So that if you do like that, then it's just that I think if you're doing like a block quote or something, that way it'll be right there in the middle.
Mm.
It'll be
Yeah.
centered, it'll be center justified. But yeah, that is a possibility. Looks like somebody wants to learn track changes in a future session. And yes, I don't know if we're going to be covering track changes in the future. That would be perhaps part of sharing complex documents
Mm.
or working on a document together. But you know what? There are other resources for Microsoft Word. So if you learn something in this class and you want to follow up a little bit more on it, you can always email us.
Mm.
But LinkedIn Learning has a fantastic Microsoft Word Essentials course, and that'll cover a lot. And so if you're learning interested in something specific, you can actually go into those chapters and just do the one that you're interested in. I've learned a lot about Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint on LinkedIn Learning, and I recommend it as a resource. But that's it for our class for today. Um, Savannah, thank you very
Mm.
much for covering Microsoft
Yeah.
Word for us so elegantly. Uh,
Thank you.
I will put a link to LinkedIn Learning in the follow-up email so that you all can look at it. If you have a chance, I would ask for you to indulge us and fill out our post-event survey. Um, we do look at these surveys and we use them to improve our future classes. I'm going to post a link in the chat, and then it should also come up when you exit the Zoom window. Thank you all for being here, for all your excellent questions, for, you know, showing us that you're interested in learning Microsoft Word. Happy learning, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.